Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this meeting of June 11th, 2025 of the Board of Supervisors to order. At this time, please join us in a moment of silence for anything you choose to think about. Thank you. Please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That brings us to our first round of public comment. Please state your name and where you live.
Edward Merriman, Newtown Walk. I wanted to get a reconfirmation from you guys that the sewer is finally dead. I know it's been talked a lot about. I know there have been conversations here, other places, and I'm just looking for some confirmation that you guys are going to vote and not allow the sewer to happen.
We don't give answers and to questions here normally, but we'll certainly take it into consideration and give you the answer you're looking for at any other time. We just can't do it right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Madam Chair, if possible, can I ask maybe the township manager has some additional information on the sewer plant issue that he can...
That would be fine.
Okay.
Well, as the board recalls, we issued a letter to the sewer authority saying that the township vehemently opposes any construction of the sewer plant. For the sewer plant to even happen would require this board to authorize the township engineer to amend the Act 537 plan to include a sewage treatment plant. So until this board does that, there's no forward progress with the project as it is now.
So if you got that, that's your answer. Okay. Anybody else?
Yep. Okay, my name is Bill DeSalvo. I live across the street at Delancey Court, 4 Franklin Circle. Last year, I came to one of these meetings to talk about the stretch of State Road 413, also known as Durham Road, from Stouffville to the bypass, of the really bad condition. And I asked if you could maybe get involved in it to do something to get it fixed, and obviously it didn't happen. The condition has gotten worse, and so I called up PennDOT on Monday, and they gave me the phone number of the district office to tell them about the problem, which is we're in districts number 6. So here's what I told them. I want to report an overall bad overall section of State Road 413, also known as Durham Road in Newtown, Pennsylvania, from Stouffville to the Newtown bypass, which bad potholes and broken pavement along the entire stretch. The two most bad conditions are as follows. Going south on Stouffville Road, there is a section just past Wrights Road on the right side, where the pavement is broken up. If you were to go there and hit your car there, and you're a small car, you're most likely going to be in trouble. Then when you go further south, as you approach the bypass, the road turns to the right, and there are broken parts of the highway, both on the right and on the left. When you're trying to make it so you're in between, it's a squeeze job, right? If you're a big car, I have an SUV, I can't really I'm going to hit something. There's no way to avoid. If you're a small car, you didn't realize that was the condition. You could lose control, I told him, and then you could possibly get into an accident, and possibly there would be a fatality. So, and also I added, you cannot just patch this thing, because they've been patching it. You have to cut it out and repave it. So the next question I said, when are you going to repave that stretch of the road? Back when I moved here from Southern California, back about 14 years ago, I asked the question, when are you going to repave it? They said, well, it was on the books to be done like 6 years ago. If you add up 6 years to all, it's like 20 years. That means that we've been living with that stretch of the road for 20 years, and it's getting bad. Now, if we want to wait until somebody gets killed, fine. Then somebody gets killed, we'll go to the funeral and say, we'll see you in the next world. I think we got to do something. Now, I did write this up, and they claim they're going to follow up. I got a follow-up email. Thank you very much. They're going to look into it. I'm asking the board that you have more influence than an individual like me and caring about the township and the fact that we constantly use this road. And then with the addition of additional traffic due to the other development, plus the possibility of doing that medical center and the daycare place, it's only going to get more traffic, more possibility of somebody dying. Please get involved. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will take that under consideration, trust me.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Anybody else for public comment?
Let me close this up.
My name is Joseph White, 220 Washington Ave, Newtown Borough. I just recently it's been brought to my attention about the sewer plant, and I have some concerns about what seems to be the way that it's maybe talked about or not talked about. I work during the day, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, like most people do. And the sewer plant is probably one of the biggest things that I can think of that's come along since I can remember being here. I've been here for about 17 years. I'm curious as to why it's not, the meetings aren't held in the evening when people can actually attend.
You need to bring that up with the sewer.
Well, I
authorities.
can't
It's not
do
up to
that.
us.
I work during the day, so this is the only time I
Well,
can.
this is this Board of Supervisors.
Right.
This is
Well,
not
are
the
you
sewer-
on the sewer
Yes, but
board?
I'm only one person.
Okay.
And
Well,
I think they've
maybe
been
you could
doing-
answer my question.
I'm the most junior member of the authority at this time. So to my knowledge, it's been done like that for X amount of years, like since maybe the 80s, maybe even the 70s, I don't know. But there's never been a mind to change it, so I doubt it's going to happen now.
Has there been
That's
a
all I can say
project
right
this magnitude that's come along?
What project?
The sewer plant.
There is no sewer plant.
Mr. Manager, could you repeat what you said a little bit earlier about the sewer plant?
Sure, for anything to happen, moving the sewer plant project forward would require this board to authorize the engineer to amend the Act 537 plan. Until that happens, there's no project.
Okay. So is there some sort, because my understanding is there's a stop work order, but that doesn't necessarily kill it. Is that true, or am I incorrect?
I don't really want to get into this because this shouldn't be a back and forth. But it's going through the courts at a certain level that we cannot do anything about. So we have to wait for that process to end.
Okay.
And the one thing I can tell you is there will not be a sewer plant there.
Okay.
Of that, I can tell you 100%.
All right.
I
Okay.
don't know what's going to be there. Something will eventually.
All right, one more point too. If it does ever possibly happen, and we don't know, maybe it's just...
We do know.
Okay. I would like for there to be a referendum that everybody could vote on. Just, that would be my last point.
There won't be a referendum because there's nothing up for discussion.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay.
Hello, my name's Danielle Tata. I live at 6 Devon Road in New Haven. Lower Dollington is an eyesore to me since you installed all the stop signs.
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear you.
Lower Dollington is an eyesore to me. I hate driving on it, and it makes me crazy with all the stop signs, how much wear and tear I have on my car. The guardrail that's next to the road that is supposed to help the walkers, it's literally 6 inches off the road. I almost got pushed over. Is that funny?
No.
Well, you're laughing.
It was moved because that's what the engineers
Well-
specified.
So it should be that the person in that lane can't move over if a car is moving into their lane, because that's what happened to me.
Well, the guardrail is there to prevent the
There's
accidents happening to pedestrians walking on the trail.
Has anybody been hit on that road? I've lived here 30-plus years.
That doesn't mean it can't happen.
Okay, then we'll go into the signage. Did you get a discount on signs? Is that why there's 45 of them on that road?
I don't know who passed that, we are the ones that realized that there needed to be slowdown points.
A yield would be nice. I remember when the Frost Lane stop sign went in. It annoyed me, but I'm fine. I'm not fine with stopping 3 times before getting down to the hill. I have an SUV, and it does put wear and tear on our cars. But the signage, it just looks like I live in Levittown. I'm sorry. I don't like all those signs. They're red, and they're day glow. A stop sign that shows a stop sign coming up in 5 feet, it just makes 0 sense. So I'd like somehow to do, somebody to look at it and say, this does not look right. Because it used to be a lovely road to drive down. Now it's just, let me go through Woods of Saxony, let me go down another way so I don't have to drive on that road, which is a shame.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Okay, seeing, okay.
Hello, good evening, thank you. My name is Dana Rivera. I am a Middletown resident, and I am here because it was to my understanding that the sewer plant is not dead until it is officially sold. So whoever comes on to this new board, or you're filling in a couple of seats, I just want to make it very, very clear that this is not a good idea for all of us. We are neighboring communities, and I happen to live in Swan Point, and I utilize the neck, and it's a gem for a lot of us here in the Newtown, Middletown area. And if this comes about, we are putting toxic stuff in our air. It's going to go into our HVAC system. All of those people who utilize the gym and so forth, and our parks, Lake Luxembourg, Core Creek. I was here about a few months ago, and we had a lot of the testimony that was being brought up with experts who worked for the Department of Environmental Sciences and so forth in Trenton, and they mentioned how bad this is. You also have schools in the Neshaminy School District that they just built that Core Creek Park for their children. Why would we want this? This would devalue all of us.
I just want to
make sure.
say,
Yes.
as you've heard our township manager say at least twice now, every single member of this Board of Supervisors would have to sign something, of Act 532, that said that we were for this. Can I just take a poll right here? How many supervisors would sign that? Are there any?
Well, technically, only 3 would have to sign it.
Okay, are there any? I don't see any hands of anybody that will sign
I just
that.
wanted clarity because I'm a bit confused. I'm a
Well,
bit
you don't have to be
confused.
confused.
Well, so this is what I want. I heard that plant wasn't completely dead.
I'm sorry you heard wrong.
So it is. So you're saying that it's a non-issue?
I don't know how many, if you want me to say it backwards. if you want
Okay,
me
well,
to say it in
that would be
different
wonderful
language.
news. That's wonderful news.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, that we should all be applauding. Thank you. Thank you. We trust your word on that.
You can.
Good. Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Thank
may
you.
I make a suggestion for the next meeting? If we could have the sewer authority manager, Mr., I believe Mike Mandito, come up to that podium on the TV and reassure the public that this is not going to happen. As far as the ownership of the property, I think that the holdup is a prominent businessman in the Newtown area who is having a disagreement with is it the Kushner organization that wanted to build apartments there? So as far as the financial aspect, it's not in our hands, but as far as declining the sewer plant, that is in our hands. We're the final decision, and from what I gather, the final decision is no, but maybe Mr. Mandito could come up to that podium and finally put this to rest.
If that is called for, I'm sure Mike will be able to do that. To tell you the truth, I don't know why, but we can certainly do it. But you can hear from all of us that we are not for it. So if you want to hear from the manager, we can do that too. He's going to say the exact same thing. So I don't know what it's going to take. That, as I said, the land is in court right now, so there's nothing that can be done. The first thing we would have to do is offer the land back to the person that had it, or in this case, it's not just a person, but it's a person and another company. They have indicated they don't want that back at this time, so we don't know what's going to happen, but right now, it's stuck in the courts. Okay, I'm sorry, you're right. I'm sorry, we can't have a back and forth. My mistake. Nobody's at the microphone, you're right. Yes. Okay, so is there any other public comment that has anything to do with anything other than the sewer plant, which I hope you now see that it's not being built. So is anybody else? Go ahead, sir.
Hello everyone, my name is Jagdish Patel and I do live in Newtown for the last 23 years. It was a brand new development where I live in 2003 started. It's called Wilshire Walk and it's a beautiful development. And you're talking about this sewer tank just very neighbor and close to that development. And we're thinking about our environmental for our children, our grandchildren, and like that, plus all this inflation that is skyrocketing all the time. Like presently, I talked to Brian Fitzpatrick about the sewer bill that skyrocketing said suddenly started more than double even, just suddenly. So, like a guy like me, that retired person, living since last 23 years in Newtown, never see this type of skyrocketing sewer bill. Water bill almost same. So what's wrong with this sewer bill, And why so double, more than double? That's not right. So I contacted to Brian Fitzpatrick, congressman, and he said, I'm working with that. I contacted him long time ago. I don't know what he did, but he just told me that he's working, his office is working with that. So I think personally that when I see that sewer tank spot really close to that my development, and we thinking about the environmental, that close to that development, plus is a beauty of that development, probably is ruin for our children and grandchildren and for the all future generation. That's my concern. So I think the sewer tank is not necessary there. Like I said, I'm living since 23 years in this development. Since it started, at present sewer line, we have no problem. So why suddenly creating a new tank? What's the reason? And getting double price and more than double price. That's wasting the money as well as making dirty environmental to everything, So just think about, for people, all situation. If it's not necessary, it's not necessary, Why we wasted for this unnecessary and changing from good thing to bad thing? That's not real thing. Plus all this inflation I said, all taxes, this and that, is on our head, and so many people nowadays is very hardship, So that's why my request, if it's not necessary that sewer tank, you don't think about. In the present system that we flush is running fine. And like I said, it's running in my house for last 23 years. I'm the first owner of that house in that development. I have no problem. I never have problem. So why am I
Thank
creating
you very
problem?
much. Thank you. We
Thank you.
appreciate your thoughts. Anybody else? Seeing none, we'll move on to the rest of our agenda, which is reports of committees, boards, and commissions. We have no committees reporting, so I will start with my chairperson report. What I want to say is June 14th is a day to come out with your community and symbolically and peacefully tell your elected leaders how you feel about the immigration activities that are happening around that you might or might not be so fond of. I personally am not fond of it. I'm not talking about the rest of us, I'm talking about me. This is my report. So please, if you are partaking in any of the activities on the 14th, please do so peacefully and non-violently and with no destruction of property or person. That's what I have to say, Mr. Vice Chair.
Good evening, everyone. Last Thursday, I attended the jointure meeting. We talked about several issues. I just want to quickly, briefly outline that a couple of issues were passed on to be advertised and adopted. One is the electric vehicle charging stations. The regulations for those should be authorized and advertised, I believe early July, and then all have a vote on that. Another is the zoning hearing board provisions. It's basically reordering the definitions, adding some definitions and reordering those. That's another that was authorized to advertise those changes in our zoning ordinance. Lastly, but not leastly, the jointure authorized the Bucks County Planning Commission to move forward on rewriting two parts of our zoning ordinances. One is the definitions part, and one is the sign ordinance. So those three have passed. There's still two other that will be sent back around to us. One is on billboards. That's very near to completion, and that will be recirculated one more time. And there is one other one that I'm not finding right now. Oh, the EV charging stations will be will be sent around again to add the LI/OLI. So they're going to do one version. They're going to advertise one version without the LI/OLI, and then after they do that, then they're going to circulate an amendment for adding EV charging stations in the LI/OLI. It's a little confusing, but it's just going to expand the ability to have EV charging stations throughout the jointure. Other than that, I would just, while I have the floor, say there will be no sewer plant while I'm on the board.
Mr. Mack?
Yes, I have several things. This past Saturday, I attended the Juneteenth celebration at Washington Crossing Park. It's the third annual Juneteenth celebration honoring the contribution of black soldiers during the American Revolution and Civil War. In case you don't know, Juneteenth is short for June 19th, which marks the day when federal troops arrived in Galveston nearly 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation to tell the enslaved people there that they were free. And we heard from speakers who were thinking maybe that wasn't just a mistake, that they arrived that late. In any case, this historic legacy of Juneteenth shows the value of never giving up hope in uncertain times, and these are uncertain times for sure. I also learned that the newly renovated African American Museum of Bucks County is expected to reopen this fall. It's right down the road from St. Mary's, and it's 32 acres. It had an old barn that they're renovating, so that would be something I know I'd like to see. Should be mentioned that February is Pride Month, which marks the anniversary of the 1961 Stonewall Uprising in New York City. I was not at that uprising, but I lived in New York at that time. So I want to also mention that Newtown Township was the first township in Bucks County to pass an anti-discrimination ordinance that created a Human Relations Commission to protect the rights of all citizens of the Commonwealth, regardless of sexual orientation or perceived gender. And I also want to say I will be attending the No Kings protest on Saturday, Make America's Constitution King. This is my MAC hat, okay? So I hope everybody can attend between 12 and 3 p.m., I think it is, 2 p.m. It's down the road from the parking lot of Fitzgerald or Fitzpatrick, what's his name?
Patrick, but that's one of many that's happening. They're happening
They're
in
happening all
Philadelphia,
over, but this one,
Doylestown.
last time there was a demonstration there, there were several hundred people. It was very well attended. I just hope I don't get shot with a rubber bullet. Thank you very much.
I would also like to say this was Mr. Mack that came up with our Love is Love resolution. Yes, okay. Mr. Calabro. Mr. Davis.
Nothing to report.
Okay. Moving on to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve our consent agenda this evening, which just contains minutes and bills for the last meeting and the past month?
I'll make that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion from the board? Any from the public? Hearing none, I'll call the question. All those in favor of approving our consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes?
No.
Oh, motion passes 4-1.
We still got the TD Bank, right?
Not for long.
Okay.
Not for long. Okay, so moving on to reports of officials, there's no engineer's report tonight, so we'll pass it to our solicitor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have zoning hearing board applications that will be heard on July 3rd, 2025 by the zoning hearing board. Both applications are residential in nature, one of which the same relief that's being requested was previously granted but expired. So the applicant is returning to the zoning hearing board. The other one involves an addition and some other improvements on residential property in the R1 district. Question for the board is whether it wishes to take a position on either of these applications.
Does anybody wish to take a position?
Hearing crickets, Madam Chair. That concludes our report.
Thank you very much. Mr. Manager brings us to you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. General fund balance this evening is $5,676,722. Plan expirations before the board with no action required. This evening, we have Chief Hearn to give his monthly chief's report. Evening, Chief.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, board members. May 2025 police report. Police Department documented 2,248 calls for service for the month of May. Logged in just over 18,000 miles on our patrol fleet. For the month of May, we had 14 arrests and clearances, 1 for assault, 5 for retail theft, 3 narcotics, 1 threat, 1 animal cruelty charge, 1 harassment, and 2 DUIs. There were 11 new cases referred to detectives for investigation, with 1 crime scene processed. Some of those investigations included 3 assaults, 2 were school-related, 3 thefts, they were all retail, 1 fraud involving cryptocurrency, 3 child line calls, and 1 natural death. There were 61 traffic crashes for the month, 171 traffic citations were issued, and 140 warnings were issued. The Truck Enforcement Task Force enacted 1 detail at the Bypass and Lindenhurst, resulting in 13 inspections, 1 citation, 5 warnings, 2 vehicles were placed out of service. Notable jobs and significant events for the month of May. May 19th, the Police Memorial was held at St. Andrews, honoring Bucks County law enforcement officers who were killed in the line or in the performance of their duties. I want to thank the members of the public and the board who attended. Our accreditation review of our police department occurred May 22nd and May 23rd. To determine if we were operating under the best practices, the commission will evaluate the report on June 24th. After 25 years of service, Police Officer Shane Vandermark has announced he will be retiring effective September 2025, bringing the department to 3 vacancies. We have issued 1 conditional offer to a candidate in the police academy, and 2 more are pending. On June 5th, crossing guard Rich Sella also retired. I want to thank him for his service over the years, crossing the children to Sycamore and Swamp. The position is currently open for anyone interested. Obtain and submit an application at police headquarters. For public service announcements, this is for the public to pay attention to. Vehicle thefts, lock your cars, remove your key fobs, do not leave valuables inside your auto, and report any suspicious activity. If you receive a text message or an email for Easy Pass violations or PennDOT traffic violations saying your license or registration will be suspended or revoked, it's a scam. Delete it. Fraud's increasing continually on the elderly. If it's too good to be true, it probably is. Speak to your young children about posting inappropriate pictures online or texting them pictures to friends. It's a violation of the law. There's also a new law enacted called the Paul Miller Law, also known as the Distracted Driving Law. No texting or driving with a phone. It's a primary offense. You will receive a warning for the first year, and after that, you will receive fines. That basically concludes my report for the month. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I have a question. Chief, I always see the thefts at Ulta Beauty Store, and I just want to know, do we give them any advice on steps that they can take to kind of mitigate this? Is there anything they can do?
There are 2 stores within our shopping district that are continually problems for our jurisdiction responding to. They were both advised, their security management team were also advised of safeguards they can put in place. That's a personal decision from their business model. We can't do nothing for them.
They don't seem very open to that, I guess. That's unfortunate.
Our theft reports continue to come in, ma'am.
I see occasionally you do catch these thieves. Do you ever recover any of the $4,000 to $6,000 worth of merchandise they claim have been stolen?
Yes, we do, and that dollar amount is pretty accurate based on the cost of some of the products within their stores. Yes,
I
we
don't
do.
know, because I cased the joint out once and I couldn't find anything over $200 in there, but
Oh, there is.
there is. Even the ones locked up, I don't know how they get away with $4,000 worth of stuff. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Anybody else for the chief?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, chief, as usual.
Madam Chair, we also have Chief Forsyth here this evening to review a memo that they had put together as it relates to the volunteer recruitment and retention program.
Thank you, Mr. Manager. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I presented a memo to Manager Lewis based on the Newtown Fire Association Volunteer Firefighter Program, the retention program. As you are aware, Act 172 was passed in 2016. It's been amended to Act 91 in 2020. This allows the municipality to give volunteer firefighters rebates on their property tax, their income tax, and that's why we're here tonight. We put together an additional, what it would cost the township to do this, has been presented to the board. There are three options. Option number one is the earned income tax rebate. We collect, I think it's one mil for the earned income tax. Unfortunately, we separate that. A half a mil goes to the school district, the other half stays to the township. So that's option number one. Option number two is the property tax credit under the same act. This would be a property tax credit to the member of the volunteer fire department. It would be based on the township supervisor's opinion on what that percentage would be. It can go up to 100% rebate. The second option, I'm sorry, is a direct stipend paid by the township to the volunteer fire department, the members. There has been some conversation with the labor attorney that recommends that that would not be a good option for the township to take. The third option would be to increase the annual budget to the Newtown Fire Association and allow them to come up with additional stipend for the volunteer firefighters, and that would, the funds would go directly to the fire association and be dispersed by them to the active members of the association. There are the three options. This has been available to the board. I would be more than happy to try to answer any questions. I think every step that we can take to retain the volunteers that we have, in the letter I documented that there are only 14 active firefighters, 12 of them reside in the township. So I stand before you folks before asking to hire more firefighters. I think this is important that we take every step we can to retain the volunteers that we have. So I would be more than happy to answer any questions. And
How much money do we give the Newtown Fire Association every year?
the township contributes $250,000 to the fire association.
And, you know, I just don't know if volunteerism is really an issue that is really something that's maybe a dead end these days. And I know that because of that, we have hired new firefighters, paid firefighters, and maybe our money is best spent in hiring and making sure we keep those firefighters who I understand actually saved a few lives this year.
That's
and,
correct.
So, I don't know, maybe there's an option 4 that we just can't afford to support volunteerism when it's pretty certain this has been going on for many years and you've had a really difficult time getting volunteers. It's not just because you can't find them. There's a program they have to go through that's very grueling, and who wants to do that? I don't think the amount of money that you're talking about here, $500 and stuff like that, is really going to help. But option number 3 is where we contribute even more than the $250,000. Is that correct?
That would be correct.
How much are you thinking about in that option?
I think the plan we put together at that rate, if it was a $1,200 stipend or something like that, would be an additional $25,000 a year from the township to the fire association.
Oh, is that all?
It's all together. Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
And this money would be dispersed from the fire association?
That's correct.
Not by the township?
Correct.
Is this money going to be W-2'd or 1099'd?
Currently, the fire association has a stipend program that is 1099 at the end of the year to the volunteers that have earned enough to receive the 1099. I think it's below $600. They don't. Most of our volunteers do receive over $600, but they do receive a 1099 from the fire association.
Okay. And again, this would be distributed from the Newtown Fire Association. The township would have no responsibility in paying the volunteer firefighters these funds.
That is correct.
Okay, so the accounting, the justification, and maintaining who is going to a fire, who isn't going to a fire, is all going to be done by the NFA.
That's correct.
Okay.
Currently, our records management system, we control all that, all the data that goes into it. So we collect the data for the fire association, and we actually issue, Chief Weaver and I do a certification to the members to certify whether they have met the requirements to receive the stipend program.
Okay, so you're talking about the 275,000 with the additional 25,000?
Yes.
Okay. Does the township ever get any kind of verification of where this money's going? I remember years past, a supervisor had asked for receipts, and they could never be produced. So,
well, we would be more than happy to give you receipts. I can tell you that the Fire Association audit is conducted by the same accounting firm that completes the township audit, and you folks receive a copy of the audit at the end of every audit season. So,
okay. Now, the $275,000, besides the stipend, what else is it used for? Just so we know.
It's the complete operation of the fire service, the fire department. It pays our utilities, it pays for the maintenance of the apparatus, it pays for all the equipment we buy. That's where the money goes for the complete operation of the fire association.
Okay. So no equipment is purchased by the township or the borough?
Not till 2028.
Okay. That's all I have.
What did you say about the borough?
I didn't say anything about the borough. I think Mr. Calabro had something to say
and
about
the borough also contributes $275,000 a year?
No, sir, they do not.
No, sir.
What do they contribute?
This year was, I think it was 191.
They contribute to the township, the emergency
To us.
services department. I think it's 191 this year.
Does that include the workman's comp?
No, it does not.
No, that's separate, right?
The borough pays the workers' comp for the volunteer side of the firehouse.
Right.
Now, doesn't the township cover them 50% of the time, technically?
Cover the borough?
Yeah,
Yes, that's correct.
okay. And our fire department budget is approximately $4 million.
Approximately, yes.
So where's the $2 million?
I'm not privy to that. That would be up to you folks to find
Okay.
that.
Either that, or maybe they should decide to open up their own $10 million firehouse. Since they never want to contribute to the township and pay us our fair share, maybe the borough should have their own fire department, which again will probably cost $10, $20 million to build a firehouse and then to hire full-time firefighters. but it's just, it just seems unfair that we cover them 50% of the time, but we don't get 50%. We don't even get 25%, 10%. I mean, 10% would be what, 400,000? We're getting 191,000. And they want to terminate the contract.
That's correct.
I don't understand where their thought pattern is. But it's, again, our taxpayers paying for their services. I just don't think it's fair.
Also, might I add that the SAFER grant is going to be coming to an end soon, so we, the township, being we, have to take over the payment of those firefighters that we hired under that grant. And when is that grant expiring?
Well, the grant is supposed to expire in March of 2027. However, the funds, when the funds are totally paid to the township, is when the grant will end. It was $1.9 million for the grant, and when that money has been exhausted through FEMA, the grant will be expired. But the agreement is till March. We have until March of 2027 to spend $1.9 million.
So less than a year.
Yes.
Madam Chair, a question, if I may? I don't know if this is for the manager rather than the fire chief. Do we have an estimate of when that money may run out? Are we looking, do we have any kind of like?
I don't have anything
Yeah.
on me right now. I
Okay,
can
maybe
look
something we
into
should,
it.
I wouldn't mind knowing that info in
Yeah.
the future, if you don't mind. Thank you.
I think we'd want to know before the budget.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. If we're running out before March of '27, then we need to make sure it's budgeted for.
Yep.
And I'm curious what that's going to be.
We were hoping they would come back to us, with something, but they haven't. So until that happens, I just feel that we shouldn't include any kind of estimate from them because we have no idea what their plans are. They are well aware of what's going to happen to the insurance on their houses and things like that when they're not protected by a fire company. So I would say that I don't think I don't want to use the word stupid or foolhardy, but I know that they know they have to get back to us sooner rather than later, or they're going to be in deep trouble. So, but we can't count on any numbers right now from them.
Well, you can't say that the fire department's not going to respond. I mean, I come from Brooklyn, and we used to say, when you're in trouble, call the fire department. They always come.
Well, there's certain parts of that they will figure out what not to respond to. And of course, if there's anything devastating,
Emergency.
we have mutual aid. So things will be responded to in that fashion.
I think the purpose of tonight is try to retain the volunteers we have, and it's my job as the fire chief to provide the best service that I can to the community to make sure that everyone is safe.
And Madam Chair, I had like 3 or 4 things I wanted to
Absolutely.
clarify. If I may, Chief.
Sure.
On the eligibility on the first page, you talk about duty crews, and how does that impact being eligible to get this?
We have a duty crew system that operates from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. in the morning. Starts 10 o'clock on Sunday evening and goes till 6 o'clock on Friday morning. The weekends are covered by another stipend program.
Okay.
That's done all by the volunteers. The career staff is here Monday through Sunday, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., but we rely totally on the volunteers from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. The stipend program is set up in 4-hour blocks. There are certain stipulations that we have to follow under the Fair Labor Standard Act because we can only pay a volunteer so much money because of our collective bargaining agreement with the firefighters. Mm-hmm. So there are a lot of things that we have to take into consideration. Quite honestly, I've been a volunteer for 50 years. I honestly, I give our volunteers a great deal of credit because they do a stipend program for 4 hours for $25. To me, that's kind of an insult. You know, $25 to put your life on the line,
Jump chair.
you know, but it helps. Every little bit has helped to retain the volunteers that we have. You know, when I started 50 years ago, there were 65 volunteer firefighters. Today we have 14. We have to bridge that gap somewhere to make sure that we have the coverage. And I'll be quite honest with you, on a Friday night at 6 p.m., you know, my heart sinks down to my toes because I don't know whether I can put somebody on a fire truck or not. And that's not a good feeling to have as a fire chief when you have 20,000 people to protect. So every step that we can take to retain the 14 we have, I think we have to do it.
Well, I'm certainly in favor of doing something. It's a matter of how it's structured. Option 1A with the EIT.
Yes.
And option 1B with the property tax credits. Is there room in the legislation, do you know if we could do an either or?
You can do either or you can do both.
Okay. So one person, if they don't own property in Newtown, they could take advantage of the EIT.
Correct.
Okay. Did I have one or two more questions? I do want to do something to help the volunteers. Oh, I know what it was. We mentioned the 25,000. If I do my math correctly, and we give 12 people $1,200, I think that's 14,000. 14,400.
I kind of need a calculator when I'm trying to add, so you're probably right, yes.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at math.
I take your word for it, Mr. Chairman.
Right. That's all I have.
I think it's important that the money we donate, that we contribute to the Fire Association, that pays for the complete operation of the firehouse. So, you know, even the apparatus we use in the daytime, that is Fire Association equipment. So, I mean, I think, honestly, I think $275,000 is cheap for leasing a fire department.
At one time, it was over 300,000.
That's correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Yes, sir.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chief.
Thanks.
That's all we have under our report, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Moving on to our second round of public comment. Please come up, state your name and where you live.
Hello. My name's Donna Serdula, Wiltshire Walk, 11 Kingsley. This is like kind of unorthodox, but I was just a giant, and I got you guys something. Can I approach? Is that all right? What is that? I know, it's so crazy. I thought, no, it's big rules. I got you guys something to eat. And John and I, this is kind of, it's for you. All right.
To what do we owe this pleasure?
Okay, so I know it sounds crazy. I'm here to speak about the vote that you guys are going to do, the one for the sewer plant, the sewer authority, right? The board seat. That's what you're going to be appointing someone to the sewer authority board, right? That's the decision. That's why I'm here. I'm not here about the plant, because I heard you loud and clear.
Can you wait just a minute for that, since that's next on our agenda?
No, well, I want to
As far
talk to you
as
before you make before you vote.
Sure. Well, we
So
will let you talk then, too.
I'm hoping to maybe sway you guys. Okay, so you say that the sewer plant is dead. This is your chance to prove it. And I've provided each of you a Baby Ruth bar because this entire situation reminds me of a scene from that movie Caddyshack. Do you remember the movie Caddyshack? A woman drops an unwrapped Baby Ruth into the country club pool, right? And what happens? People, they see it floating, and we know what they think it is, right? And what happens? Pandemonium, chaos breaks out. People are angry, they're fleeing, they're getting out of that pool. We are at that exact same moment here. But I just bought it at Giant, I know. But I'm getting somewhere with this, guys.
I'm going to test this to see if it
really floats. But we're at the exact moment. But you just saw it. You saw these people, how angry they were. You see how they're angry. They're disgusted by the thought of this plant. They don't want it. You guys are telling them that it's dead. I hope it's dead. I'm trusting you that you're not going to do anything to Act 537. You're going to keep that Act 537 there. I trust you guys to do that. But you have another chance. And that is who you elect to the board tonight, right? Because there were three candidates. There is Craig Deutsch, there is Keith Terry, and there was Mark Bjorkman. Those were the three. And when we talked to these three people, there was only one candidate who said, in terms of the sewer plant, only one of them said, I'm against it. The other two, Craig and Keith, both said, I'm open. Like, I'm willing to listen and hear both sides. The only one who said, no, I'm against it is Mark Bjorkman. He's the only one. And so I hear you guys. I believe that you're not going to change Act 537, but I'd like you to add just a little bit more, just to really make me to know. So yeah, you're holding this baby Ruth in the form of your vote for the Sewer Authority Board seat. And I say, please don't drop it in the pool. Prove it's dead and vote for the one candidate. The only one who has unequivocally stated he does not support the plant. And that's that guy. That's it. That's the man. All right? Guys, choosing anyone else. And look, is Craig Deutsch here? Is he here? Is Keith Terry here? No. Okay. I would nothing against them. I am sure they are lovely gentlemen. I really am. I have no doubt that they are awesome. But Mark has said, I don't support the plant, and I like that. I like that a lot. So choosing anyone else other than him, it's taking this baby Ruth, right? And it's throwing it into the pool. And what's going to happen? I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. What we saw today. Anger, chaos, pandemonium. People do not want it. You know that. I don't have to keep telling you that. People are going to leave. The town is going to change. In ways, we don't want this. We don't want the change. We've chosen this town for its charm, the quality of life, and it's going to become something different. Now, you guys also gave us the Wawa. You did. Like, that's enough. It's like we're done, right? Like, we're good, right? We're good. Like, we got the Wawa. We're good. So tonight, what I want you to do, after all of this, when you're presented with Craig, you are presented with Keith, and you are presented with Mark, I want you to do the right thing. I want you to vote for Mark. Because if you don't vote for Mark, you're throwing this in, and you're basically telling me that, we're saying what we're saying about the Act 537. I want you to see that. I want you to really prove it to us. That's it. I'm done. I hope it was at least a little entertaining. I tried. I know this is boring for
But
you.
you didn't complete the end of the story with Caddyshack.
Oh.
I believe Bill Murray
Yeah.
ate The candy bar.
So,
So the candy
shall
bar
shall we
wasn't...
break into it and eat it together?
Just saying.
No, thanks.
All right,
Thank you for your point.
Well, that's a hard act to follow. Good evening, Fran Haller. I live in Newtown, Grant, and I know you're sick and tired of the topic. Just bear with me. On February 12th, this board unanimously stated that you're against the building of the sewer treatment plant in Newtown Township. And it was at Mr. Calabro's suggestion, this board wrote a letter to the Newtown Sewer Authority voicing your objection to this project, and I have a copy of this letter here, dated February 14th, which in part stated, quote, "Please be advised that Newtown Township Board of Supervisors is vehemently opposed to the continued exploration, planning, and construction of a sewage treatment facility in Newtown Township. The board recognizes the concerns of the citizens that it represents and will make every effort to thwart the success of the project." The letter does go on to referring to the repercussions if this directive is ignored, and encourages further discussion with Bucks County Water and Sewer regarding additional capacity and connection to the Neshaminy Interceptor. Newtown residents that found out about this letter were very pleased. Now, there's a vacancy on the Sewer Authority Board. And unfortunately, those concerned citizens of Newtown that were very pleased with your letter cannot elect someone to this position. As elected officials, you have become our voice, since it's your job to make this appointment. Apparently, there are 3 applicants for this position. I presume the 3 other candidates withdrew. I listened to the meeting online. Chairwoman, you had mentioned that there were 6 applicants. Of these 3, only one, Mark Borkman, a qualified candidate, has echoed the sentiments of your letter and those of the concerned citizens of Newtown by unequivocally stating that he is against the proposed sewer treatment plant. Ms. Snyder, on February 12th, you said, quote, "It is my job as a supervisor to back our citizens. You have been heard," end quote. So, will this elected board truly back the Newtown citizens by appointing Mark Borkman to the Sewer Authority Board? This is your opportunity to let your constituents know that, yes, you have been heard and we have your back. Thank you.
Todd McGonigal, Newtown Township. Phil, my comments tonight are going to be directed towards you. I heard you loud and clear last week, and I want to take you at your word. We're here tonight, obviously most of us are here because we honestly don't believe that this sewer issue is completely dead. You said it yourself, you want it to be dead. And I believe you have an opportunity tonight. I believe it's in your hands. You have the power to do this tonight. We have Mark, who said he is absolutely opposed to this sewer plant. We know how some of these members are going to vote. And I think that you can prove to us tonight that you're a man of your word, that you want this to be dead. You don't want it to be a campaign issue. You don't want it to be an issue for Newtown. So I hope you make the right decision tonight. And I'm asking you to vote for Mark for the sewer authority. Thank you.
Valerie Mahalik, Newtown Walk. My question is to Supervisor Mack. Thank you for sending out a survey to the residents of Newtown to ask our opinion. You were the only one that asked what the voices of Newtown want. Will you be sharing what the voices of Newtown said?
Well, I will publish it on my website, www.johnmacnewtown.info.
So you're not going to read the results tonight that Mark Bjorkman was in the lead by 68%? And that Craig Deutsch, I believe, got, hold on, let me pull it up. I believe it was 12%, and the other gentleman, Keith, was not much higher than Craig. Craig got the lowest number of all of them. Those are the voices of Newtown. These voices have been ignored. It is insulting when the chairwoman speaks to a gentleman who comes up here and questions what he knows. $9 million was spent. It was spent without any of us being asked if we wanted our money to be spent on land that was condemned and then taken for $9 million. And our rates went up 47%. I'm tired of sitting in these meetings and for residents who take the time to come out of their busy schedules to be made to feel that they shouldn't be here and question. We question because how this all went down was not right. And at the sewer meeting, which many cannot attend because it's during the day at 3 and it is not televised, it was the manager, not the 6-member board. Actually, at that time, it was a 5-member board because one person has resigned. It was the manager who said, we failed with our lack of communication. Communication. That's what all of you are here to do. You are here to communicate to us, and then you're to listen to what it is that we want. So if you are listening, number one, we didn't want you to spend $9 million. Number two, we didn't want our rates to go up 47%. There were two 78-year-old women at one of the sewer meetings who said they were worried they can't pay their bill. This is why the public is here. We don't trust you. So if you want to earn our trust back, take Supervisor Mack's results and listen to the voices of Newtown. They matter.
Hello, everybody. Newtown Grant resident since 1999, and I'll keep it brief so we can get the meeting over with. But I've been coming to these meetings more frequently during 2020 on Zoom meetings when you guys had them because you couldn't have them in person. And every time we have a group of people that come out to the meetings for different reasons, for Wawa, for the Toll Brothers development that's destroyed the land there and killed the farmers' land, developments being built on the Newtown bypass, or the new daycare center that just got approved, every single time, and I brought this up many, many times, we as residents have very good data, information. We talk to you about why we don't want them. We tell you why we think that it's a bad idea, give you all the reasons why. And at the end of the day, as I've said and other people have said here today in other meetings, that you're the only voice that we can hope and pray and speak to hope that you'll be the voice for us on what we believe in. And it seems to me, again, with the passing in the April meeting with the daycare center on Durham Road that local residents came out and said we don't want, it's going to cause traffic and problems and left and right turns. All this stuff came about, and what happened? Came and went through. Again, another project that nobody wants. It doesn't seem like the residents' voices matter to anybody. It doesn't seem like the residents' voices care. So to me personally, I don't want to speak for anybody else, but it seems like that no matter what I say, no matter what I preach, I can come up here and give you factual data and information that I researched for a week, and it means nothing to anybody up here. It just seems like whatever business, whatever company, whatever they want to do is going to happen. We have the the water sewage plant. I know it's dead. It's not going to come here. Whatever you guys wanted to tell us, that's fine. But we know something else is going to go there. We know it could possibly be a skyrise building complex complex. We know that could be a possibility. You guys said some years ago when that was coming about, you didn't want it. Why don't we do something to stop it now so that doesn't happen? Change our zoning laws, work with the jointure, do something. It seems like that, oh, we waited too long or we have other priorities. Nothing ever changes. And as a resident, I feel like my voice means nothing. So I don't know what to think about anything, being a Newtown resident, and I'm 35 years old. I have more important things I'd rather do than coming here every day worrying about my township getting destroyed and having it be Philadelphia or Street Road or whatever it is. So I hope you guys one day listen to what I have to say, not because I want to say this or not because I want to yell or scream at you guys, but as a young person, this is where I want to live, not in Philly, not in New Jersey, in Newtown. And I want to live here, grow here. I live with my mom. I don't want to have to move because the place turns into Street Road and I have to move to the Poconos to get what I thought was going to be Newtown. So thank you.
Ed Merriman, Newtown Walk. A little bit of good news. So my wife, Abby Leaf, is head of the board of A Woman's Place, which is the only, as they quoted from the patch, the only domestic violence community benefit organization in Bucks County, which provides full range of programs and services to individuals experiencing domestic violence. And right now, Woman's Place is about to be 50. Next year will be their 50th year. They've been struggling. Funding was sketchy. They were worried in the current climate that they weren't going to get enough funding just to continue. And then yesterday, they found out from the state and from the county they were getting $6.1 million to build a new shelter. Spectacular. Yeah. So, the grant is mainly coming from the state. Josh Shapiro kind of spearheaded it, but Steve Santiago, Perry Warren were pivotal in getting this. Also at the county level, Diane Marseglia and Bob Harvey were integral in getting this project through. So now they have the ability to build a brand new, modern, sophisticated shelter for people who suffer from domestic violence. And we talk a lot about violence in America and things like that. And the scary, sad part is that the most common form of violence is silent and in the home, perpetrated by the closest people to each other. And there's a huge need to support people for domestic violence. And so I'm really grateful that it's, government can work and we can come through and get things done and help our fellow neighbors who are desperately in need. So thank you.
Thank you. Do you know where that will be built?
Sewer plant.
Do you know where that will be built, Ed?
The shelter?
Yes.
Where?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Not sure yet. Okay, thank you.
$9 million you can have.
Okay. If we could get on with our business, please. Thank you. We hear what you have to say. In my opinion, 107 people out of 20,000 is not indicative, and there's no scientific way of doing a survey. A survey, like, what are your parameters? I don't get it.
People.
Can I just continue?
No.
Well, you're going to have to
Because
let me.
you're
So the other thing,
misinformation, please.
the other thing I want to say is that it doesn't matter if it's Craig Deutsch, Mark Borkman, or Keith Terry. They're not supervisors. Therefore, they have no power to change the will of the people, of what's going to be in there. They are simply there to fill a spot, and really, it's a very boring process of bills lists and capital improvements to our sewer system, and that's it. We don't talk about anything that has anything to do with the sewer facility because that's dead. So there is not, so really, they have no, it doesn't matter who it is. They have no input on what's going to be built there. They're there to fill a spot, and they're who we think is going to be the right person to do that. That's simply it. They don't have any say on what's going to be built there. We know that none of them want it to be built. So no matter what you talked to, what you heard, They don't want it to be built. I don't know about Keith Terry, to tell you the truth, but I do know the other two don't. So and don't bother arguing with me. I've talked to them. I've done my due diligence. And so now it's time to,
Madam Chair, if
Yes.
I may make a statement.
please, go right ahead.
One of the phrases that always amaze me when people come up there and they say the phrase, "do the right thing," which I don't think we intend coming here to do the wrong thing. We all think about what we want to do. What I get "do the right thing" is code for is do what I want you to do. Because, well, and we take our constituents into account. We come up here to do the right thing after we've assessed everything that we've been given. We don't sit back and say, hey, you want to do the wrong thing today? Yeah, let's do the wrong thing. Let's just not even appoint anyone. So when you come up there and you say, Mr. Calabro, we hope you do the right thing. Well, I intend to do the right thing according to how I feel the right thing should be. But unless I do it your way, it's not the right thing. Now, one day, if any one of you sit up here and somebody comes up there to say, do the right thing, and you vote in the opposite direction, will you go home at night on your conscience saying, boy, did I do the right thing? That's all that counts, is when you go home at night and can look yourself in the mirror and say, yeah, I did the right thing. I didn't agree with many of the people, but maybe I did the right thing. And I have to also say, 105, 103 people is not indicative of a scientific survey. I don't know where they were asked, who was asked. We never saw the questions of the survey. Every survey can be tilted to how you want that survey to be answered.
Can you not do that, sir? That's not allowed here. Please don't do that.
Go out and get the couple thousand signatures and we'll put it on the referendum. That's all you need. You just don't go and say, put it on a referendum. There's a process. If you're willing to do the process, get it on the referendum, it can be done. But it's going to be done for something that is not going to be done. There's not going to be a sewer plant there. Now, again, and I also want to address the fact that I too live in Newtown Grant since 1988. Original buyer, which it was all dirt. And it was farmland that was in litigation since the 70s. So when someone comes up here and says we're diminishing farmland, we're taking this away, we're taking that away. Newtown Grant, the largest development, was farmland that was in litigation since the 70s. So when you come up here and are proud to say, I live in Newtown Grant, it's the biggest and the best, why don't you finish it by saying, we won that through a lawsuit? And at that time, when I moved in here, all of Newtown hated us. We caused traffic. We caused this. We caused that. But when I called the tax office, I said, yeah, but you're getting a lot more taxes. So when you come up there, I always say, know the history. You could come up there and say anything. You could make up stories left and right. But if you don't know the history, don't come up there and start blabbing, I've lived here since so-and-so. It's the biggest and the best. It's this, that, and the other thing. When your property, and probably every one of us live in a development that was once a farm. But since we're here, no one else can be here. No one else can build here. No one else can live here. And all the Street Road and Levittown, there's not enough property developed on the bypass. There is nothing on the bypass. The largest parcel on the bypass is Upper Silver Lake Road, and guess what? We own it. And nothing can be done on that property unless the commissioners, Bucks County commissioners, approve it. Okay? Some more history. All the little pockets are like 1 little acre. So yeah, we're going to build maybe we could build a Kohl's on the 1 acre of property. and make the bypass. You know, I see people shaking their heads, and I see people saying, oh, traffic impact. I live where there's 1,751 homes since 1988, and I've never been backed up at a traffic light. So that whole traffic impact stuff, it goes out the window. People would have to leave their homes at the same time, go in the same direction, come back at the same time, at the same direction, for there to be any traffic impact. And I don't think in this township we all work at the same place at the same time. So when the traffic impact or stopping at stops, I don't like to stop at a stop sign every 50 feet. I agree with you. You don't have to give me a dirty look. I agree with you. But if people are asking us to keep the road safe, it's a traffic calming situation. Okay? It never was, but I hear somebody came up here and say, oh, just one person has to get killed on the road. That gentleman who said that 413 was not safe. Just one person. That's all that has to happen. And then they're going to say, where were the stop signs? Where were the blinking lights to cross the street? So take this into consideration when we do these things for the public. Instead, it's like, you're going to build a sewer plant. No, we're not. And pick the right person. We intend to. But if it's not your person, it's not the right person. Is that any way to look at who's going to be on that board, that it's automatically the wrong person? I really don't understand. Referendums on stuff that's not going to be passed. That's a good suggestion. Maybe there's a referendum on something else. Why don't you go do a referendum on the school board raising taxes every year? Thanks for the lecture. Okay, good. I had to listen to your lecture. Now it's my turn. Okay? Yes, really. Miss Mahalik running for supervisor who wants to make a statement. No.
No.
I'm disrespectful. Yes, I am. Absolutely.
If you are going to invoke my name.
Mr. Calabro is talking. You will
I'm
have your turn
speaking,
right after
And
that.
I don't appreciate you
care.
being disrespectful.
Well,
If you want to have a conversation, call me up
Are
here.
you running for supervisor? Are you running for supervisor? Are you making political
Yes,
statements when you
I'm
go
not
up there?
making a political statement.
Yes,
I
you
am
are.
trying to look out for the best interests of the people, which is not what you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
May I?
Yes.
I'm not doing the
Yeah.
right thing because it's not according to you. That's all. Or not according to the stop sign. Or not according to Mr. Referendum.
Okay.
Oh my God! You know what? It's just like you can't handle the truth.
May I?
I call this meeting back to order. If we can get on with the business at hand, that would be greatly appreciated. You've all had your chance to speak. We're done with public.
Public comment. Is the public comment over, or we?
Yeah, we were
Yeah.
moving on to
The other
but
business
people
and
wanted
the-
to
and the vote.
interrupt that
Yeah.
to say their opinions first.
Right. And there's another chance for public to have their comments
Yes, there is.
before we vote.
Yes, there is.
I thank the three gentlemen who submitted their interest in being the sewer authority, filling the seat in the sewer authority. Mark had a great resume. Craig had a good resume, very good resume, and he also has the knowledge of Newtown by sitting on the planning commission for several years. He sits up here on 2 nights a week, 2 nights a month. And Craig has a very professional resume, and he knows the township. Mr. Terry, I don't know him. He does seem to have a good background on what how to run a sewer authority. The issue about the survey. There's no way that there could be a scientific survey that Mr. Mann took. I appreciate.
No claim was made that it's scientific. I heard 100 people
John,
tell me their opinion, that's all.
John, let me finish.
Enough with the scientific.
Can you?
But you cannot depend on it. It is inaccurate.
I can depend upon what people tell
John,
me.
you'll have your turn. How about if you take your
Can
turn?
you let Mr. Fisher talk?
Please.
You'll have plenty of time, and I'm sure you'll use it.
I'll go after you.
Great. I really appreciate that you are getting the gauge of some group of people. It's not the whole shebang. It's not. I mean, how do I know that you didn't ask questions that led to a conclusion? And intentionally or unintentionally, that can happen. It skews the sample. So, having said all that, I think I know which way I'm going. It's the person with the right combination, the best combination in my opinion, of resume and knowledge of the township. And I have talked to Craig, and I know that he will be a good board member.
May I say something about the survey? You're telling me that it was skewed? Basically, I put the 3 emails up on the survey from quoted each member, put them in alphabetical order of their last name, and then said, which of these would you recommend? And the survey rotated them around, randomized, so the first person is not always the same one. So in that sense, it's not skewed, all right? It may not be scientific, but don't give me that bullshit that my surveys are skewed. It's not. I have a lot of experience doing surveys. And you want to take a look at it? You could have had a chance to take a look at it. I'll show you. I'll show it to you tomorrow. I'll read it on my blog.
There's the point. I didn't know about it. The people who wanted to know about it knew about it.
I sent it out. I sent out an invitation to 600 of my email subscribers who are Democrats, Republicans, and Independents. It doesn't represent the whole damn township, no. But I sent it out to a lot of people.
Okay.
And I also disclosed which was it, Newtown versus Middletown. So I could take out of the survey the Middletown people. We should be listening to our Newtown residents. Such disdain for the residents' opinion. Your opinion doesn't count. You should have learned that tonight. Your opinion doesn't count. Only what's important to me counts. Me. That's all you heard tonight.
The issue is, though, that I asked John Mack 5 days ago who he would support as the person, and he did not give me an answer. So, therefore, I did not have his answer to, get to the so-called 3 votes that we need. He didn't answer me. I asked him 5 days ago.
Why is that important? Did I tell you who I vote for? I don't always tell people who I vote for. Why should I do that? I shouldn't tell you.
Well, then we could have taken things into consideration that were of your concern. But having said that, Mr. Fisher, am I to conclude that you were putting Mr. Deutsch's name up for consideration?
Yes, I would nominate Craig Deutsch as the person to fill
It would require a motion of the board to appoint a specific candidate. So, Madam
Do I
Chair.
have a motion to appoint Craig Deutsch as our replacement member of the Sewer Authority?
Yes, you do.
And I second that. That doesn't mean any more nominations can happen, so just please let it take, it's not time, please stop.
Well, public comment before we vote on the motion.
Well, you also have board comment before the public.
That's right. So we have one name put into nomination and seconded. Is there any other nominations that any of the board members would like to put up?
No. You're not going to do it like that. There's a motion. The motion is to appoint
Craig Deutsch.
Mr. Deutsch.
And so we don't
It was
take
seconded. That is the only consideration right now before the board. There's no taking of other nominations. If that happens to fail, the board can then entertain a new motion. But right now, the motion is to appoint that individual.
Okay, sorry for that, I didn't know. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion from the board?
Yes, I have a discussion. I talked to Craig Deutsch and I talked to Mark Borkman. Okay, I also asked Mr. Cherry to give me a call and he never responded. All right, so not only do I talk to citizens, I talk to the candidates to find out exactly how they feel. I got from Craig Deutsch, I didn't get a direct answer when I asked him how he felt. Would he be opposed to the sewer plant if it ever came up again for consideration? He wouldn't say no. He wouldn't say yes. He just hemmed and hawed, and I know that from his past experience, he's very pro-development, and he kept on talking to me about the need for sewage, for doo-doo to go through, is how he expressed it. And so from my conversation with him, I think he has in mind that we need to do something to increase our sewage capacity, and I think he might be considering, if it ever came up, I'm not saying it will, but if it ever came up, he might be in favor of that. Number two is he sits on 3 different committees, and he sits on the Planning Commission, which involves this development that requires sewage. And so he's going to have, I think, a little bit of a conflict of interest. I also asked him if he felt overextended, and of course he said no, he wasn't. But, you know, why not give somebody else a chance who is not? I appreciate that he's been a volunteer for many years and has diligently did his work as a volunteer. But give me a break. Put somebody up there who hasn't served, who wants to serve. Otherwise, you're giving a message to our citizens that you can apply for things, but we're only going to put our friends up there who have been around for a long time and who may have a conflict of interest.
Any other discussion from the board?
Yeah, Madam Chair, I concur with Mr. Mack. I have nothing against Mr. Deutsch. He served our township for many years, for as long as I can remember, to be honest with you. I just think that Mr. Bjorkman is a better candidate for this seat, because I really believe, I want somebody in there that's absolutely emphatically going to say, no sewer plant in Newtown Township. So.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I like this. It seems like the board is not, what can I say, well-versed on the 3 candidates. I would like to table this nomination so that we have some more time to get the knowledge of the candidates, the 3, and at the next meeting, since we'll have enough time to have reassessed and assessed who we want, we can make that decision at the next meeting.
Phil, I think that's a good idea. We used to have
Well,
applicants...
I just made the motion to table. Do you want to second it?
I'll second that.
Okay.
We used to have applicants come up before here at a work session, at a public work session, and interview them for their positions. Why don't we do that?
Madam Chair. Madam Chair, there's been a motion. There's been a motion to table and a second. It'd be appropriate to entertain a vote on that motion at this point.
Okay. All right. Do we want public comment first, or
You can ask for you can ask for it. I think it's more of a procedural motion since no decision is being made this evening. The
So
motion to
all this-
table is before the board, but I think that the board can vote on that motion at this point.
Point of order. What does that To table it, what does that mean? in
Moves
terms
it
of
to the next
procedure?
meeting.
Moves it to next, table supersedes any
that's
other.
all.
I
Correct.
asked for
And
clarification.
at that meeting, there must be a motion made to remove it from the table and then entertain the motion, the underlying motion that was made.
Yes.
So can we do that at the same time? So in other words, we're not having another meeting for a month?
Correct.
So-
July 9th will be the next meeting.
Next meeting, there'll be a motion to take it off the table.
Correct.
And then we won't be able to vote?
That you will be able to
Yes,
vote
you
on
will
it.
be able to vote.
It'll be off the table and alive for your consideration.
Then you can make a motion to appoint.
Correct.
All right, all those in favor of tabling this
Motion.
nomination, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Nay.
Good, I can carry on with my survey and get
Motion
some more
passes
responses.
4-1. So this is tabled.
And it'll be on the agenda next week, next month.
I guess so, be on the agenda next month. Also, Craig Deutsch is against this, but that doesn't matter at this point. So I guess that's the end of our, is there anything else procedurally we need to do, Mr. Solicitor?
Other
Yeah,
business,
that,
other business item, please?
yeah, there's,
Yes.
this was item A under other business. If there's any other business, it would be
I have,
appropriate to raise that at this time.
I
Okay.
have something of other business, may I discuss it?
Absolutely.
While we're discussing the Sewer Authority Board, my opinion is that this board is not representative of Newtown Township versus the borough. There are 3 borough members and 3 township members. The township, as you have always pointed out, has 20,000 people. The borough has, I don't know, 2,000? So we outnumber them 10-1. Meanwhile, they have the same voting capacity on the sewer authority as the township. Secondly, a 6-member board is ridiculous. We do not have a 6-member board because you can have a 3-3 tie, and I do not know who can break the tie. Maybe it's Warren Gromley can break the tie at a supervisor seat.
With the
Whatever, Mike, whatever his name is, somebody, I don't know what the rules are for this very mysterious sewer authority that tends to keep its meetings, really not open to the public. But I would like to see, I know this is not the sewer authority, but maybe this is another letter we can send to the sewer authority, that they rearrange the board so that there's more representation of the township rather than equal representation with the township and the borough. Because I know we could have lost that vote if the other borough member came there and voted, because I know all the 3 borough members were in favor of this. They made a big noise at the sewer authority, and that just concerns me going into the future here. Just my comment. Thank you.
John, you're absolutely right. I always think that it should be based on the proportion of the population. The only thing is, I don't know if we'd have to go through the sewer authority bylaws to make those changes. Kyle, do you know that? or-
Yeah, so as I recall, this is a little bit before my time. The charter with the sewer authority was like something like 20 years or something, and was re-voted on.
way longer than that.
Yeah, it's a long time. And we had our opportunity like 2010 timeframe, and we kept it the same,
Yeah.
3-3, even though the same argument
But
came up back then.
I've had that same question in
Yeah.
a 3-3 tie, who breaks the tie? You're absolutely right, and that could happen. Just because it hasn't happened doesn't mean it couldn't happen. I don't know if we pressure the sewer authority and to amend the bylaws before that. I do think that maybe we should have a 4-3 in favor of the township. It's like anything else, because the borough thinks they've been around here longer, they have more clout, but we have more people. And I think if you base it on population.
We should annex the borough, the 51st state or something like that.
I'm not opposed to that either. I think that, we could let them have their governing body continue, but maybe they come under the the auspices of the township. I mean, we already, any kind of major crime that happens in the borough, our police department takes care of it. We already have an arrangement with Wrightstown
They have
Township.
their own police department?
Yeah, about 3 people, 3 policemen. I think when there's any kind of thing like a break-in, or we have the equipment to handle with fingerprints and so on, whereas they have to call us in to take care of it. So, I mean, these are things that Wrightstown realized it, and Wrightstown didn't have to create their own police department. They just incorporated our police department. It saved them a lot of money, but gained us money for covering that township. So we're dealing with, I think Ms. Schneider said, a bunch of stubborn people on that particular council that should understand we don't want to take anything away from them. We want to give them assistance and get compensated for the assistance. And they could run their government the way they run their government. We won't come into conflict with that. But maybe there are things that we can do along with fire service, police service, and so on, of which they can compensate us. Paying us hypothetical $500,000 is cheaper than establishing a full-fledged police force, which will cost them. What's our police force budget?
It's roughly 6, I think, off the top of my head.
Yeah, 6 million.
6.
Do you realize what their tax base would have to be to raise $6 million for a police department?
If I might say, one of the reasons they said for the cancellation of the fire contract was the fact that they wanted to make sure that their police were well taken care of, and that they thought that the fire contract took away money from the police, that they wanted to make sure they felt secure. And so that's what they're looking at.
I don't know. I don't want to say it doesn't make sense, but if they were to incorporate our police department and pay us, I think Wrightstown pays us almost $1 million.
Yeah.
I mean, if they were to pay us, we'll start off at $500,000. They don't have to worry about a police department. They don't have to worry about paying for a police department. It's our police department. We could even call it Newtown Area Police Department if they're so concerned between borough and township. And just incorporate it that way. But, I know that doesn't solve the sewer board issue, but it's part of it. It's part that we should have a larger say on the sewer board, the sewer authority board. Because, again, our population are more of the payers than the borough. Newtown Grant is more of a payer than the boroughs. Like I said, 1,751 homes. Okay, they have 2,000 homes. I mean, not much difference.
Okay, so can I say that we want Mike Mendito to come to our next meeting? Is that what you indicated before, to talk about some of these various things? I'll tell him the things that we've discussed, and I don't know if he needs to bring the sewer authority solicitor or to explain some things. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe, Mikey, you have an idea of who we have to ask for this to happen?
He's going to say the exact same thing I said. That for a plant to go forward, it requires the amendment of that 537 plan.
Yes, of course. We know we're not doing that. I'm talking about, they want to know, I don't know what they want.
There are other questions I would like to ask him, not just about that.
They want to ask about the fact of the uneven amount that John and
about the time in which they have public meetings, about how long it takes them to put minutes up, about how long.
Well, that you have to go to the sewer authority for. We have no.
Yeah, well,
nothing for
we're
that.
talking about having Mike come here, and what are we going to ask him? And I'm saying these are the kinds of things I'd like to ask him. It's not just going to be about that. What about the land? You mentioned that there was a court case where Mr. Worthington doesn't want that land back. Well, yeah, there's a rumor he bought the steeplechase property. He's going to build his shit over there. He doesn't need that property anymore. So now the sewer authority has this 17 acres. What do they do with it? As far as I know about the eminent domain, if the original owner doesn't want that property, they cannot sell it to anybody else for 20 years. 10, 20, whatever. I won't be around. But they can donate the property to the township, and this is what I brought up at the sewer authority meeting. So we also need somebody representing us who might make that argument in front of the sewer authority, if that's what we really would like, and I think that's what I would like to see.
Well, the sewer authority
also,
has
considering
loans
that
out
the
of $9
Holy
million, so that would have to be
the
paid.
university, what's the name of that university?
Holy Family?
Holy Family University wants to build lots of houses right adjacent to that property for their students.
And it's not for their students, because they haven't made
That's
any.
what I heard. It was for their students. I read about it in the patch.
But
Maybe it was
it's not dorms,
misinformation.
it's single-family homes, a lot of it.
Well, it didn't look like single-family homes. I saw the plans. It looked like apartment buildings to me. So, whatever. They want 290 or 190 EDUs. What is that?
Well, it's not going to get through anywhere, so I don't think it's.
Well,
something we
how are
need
you
to
making
talk
statements like that? Who are you? Are you in charge? What the hell?
about. No, I just don't think our planning commission or
Yeah,
our
with
planner.
Craig Deutsch on, and he'll approve every
All right,
development.
can we just stay on what we're talking about and not go on all these
I am
tangents
talking about
things that are
asking
unrelated?
Mike Mandello, is he Italian? Mandino, he's Italian, right? He's one of us. Yeah. So he's going to have to face some questions that we have, and that's kind of involved in one of them. I mean, how is he going to handle the sewer capacity if he doesn't build a plant? What's the plan? That kind of stuff.
It's up to the chairperson to put it on the agenda if you'd like, so.
Yes, of course.
Or a
And
work
I will
session.
do that. I would just like to know who can answer the question of how long ago the amount of people from the borough and the township were, when was that agreement made?
I found out
don't know.
it was 2010, and it's a 50-year agreement.
So that's
Well, that's
only,
a
so
standard,
only
probably.
since
Yeah.
2010 has there been 3 and 3?
And it's going to be 3 and 3 till 2060. Yeah.
Is that an agreement?
Probably unless it's amended. And again, if you need 4 votes to amend it, it's not likely
No, it's not
to
going to. Of course,
happen.
they're not going to vote
But the
against it, so-
50-year life is a statutory life of a municipal authority, and you don't. That's
I know.
that's in the statute, and that's what every authority has when it starts out. Then, when the 50 years ends, they renew the deed of trust or whatever document establishes the authority, and that they proceed from 50 years to 50 years.
I knew you'd have the answer to that question. It's been burning over here, but I put it on the back burner until I wanted to know if it was a municipal planning.
Yeah, it's in the Municipality Authorities Act, which is not the MPC or the Santa Claus
Amazing.
Township Code. It's a separate standalone
Got it.
statute that governs municipal authorities.
Thank you.
So do you suggest we send a letter to the sewer authority, Mike Mendito and Jessica Vanderkamp, our attorney, both, because they both might have to answer these questions?
That's strictly a board decision as to whether to invite somebody to your meeting and who exactly to
Okay, so
invite.
I have to find out who can answer these questions, obviously, but you just answered the one.
I used to represent municipal
Gotcha.
authorities.
Okay. All right, well, we'll see what we can do, and we'll try our best to
On
get it
a,
on
on
the
a board of
agenda.
6, what's the quorum?
You need
Four.
4?
Yeah. And you need 4 affirmative votes to
Okay.
take action.
Now, not to be tricky or anything, but if our 3 members never show up, what can they pass?
Say that again?
Yes, the
If
Newtown,
our three members never
They
show
can't pay any
up,
bills,
there's no quorum.
That's not gonna work out too
They
well.
can't pay bills, they can't, what's it gonna take for them to listen to us? If we stonewall the sewer authority board, does that give us any more clout? Just a thought.
Well, you gotta convince our other two appointees to do that.
What's that?
You have to convince our other two appointees that are sitting on it to do that.
Well, would they rather,
Yeah, I'm just saying.
I know, would they
our
rather,
other two, we only have one right
would they
now.
rather stonewall it, or would they rather them pass stuff in their favor?
It's hard because only the representatives of the township show up. The people from the borough hardly ever have a full three there, so.
Well, then technically, in a way, they're stonewalling us.
No, there's always four.
Always been for, up until yesterday.
But you need all four votes. If that one borough resident, one borough member doesn't want to vote with our three township members, nothing will get done.
So when there's a quorum of four, you still need four votes, Mr. Solicitor?
I am actively looking that up, Mr.
On
Mack.
a six-member board,
In other
you
words,
need half plus one.
Is it a majority of a quorum, or is it a majority of the entire board? I'm looking that up.
Well, when we have only three members, if only three members, it has to be all affirmative of the
Correct.
three.
Because the second-class township code specifically says that to take affirmative action, you must have a majority of the entire board, not just a majority of a quorum.
Right.
Other types of government, boroughs, for instance, I believe, don't need a majority of the entire council. They just need a majority of the quorum. So I'm looking that up in the Municipality Authorities Act, and I'll see if I can get you an answer.
Well, I believe it's half plus one, so we need 3 plus 1.
Right, but it depends who shows up at a meeting. If only 5 members show up at a meeting, you have a quorum, but will 3 affirmative votes out of the 5 attending allow you to
I
take
see.
action, or do you need to have 4 votes for everything?
Yeah,
So I'm trying to find that out.
I see. I think we need 4 votes, but yes, please
I
find out.
think that's true, but I'm trying to.
We
I'm
haven't
trying
come
to.
out, a lot of this, none of this has really come up, so we haven't had, like I say, the 3 township members always show up, and except for now when we don't have an empty position, so we haven't been in that situation. Okay, so we'll give instructions over there. I'll call over there and see what we can do for the next meeting here. And at that time, we will we'll discuss who you want here as far as, do you want Craig here to speak, or do you want to speak to him privately, or tell me how you want to do it, and I'll make sure it gets done.
In between televised meetings, we do have In between televised meetings, we do have what's called a work session, which we used to have back in the old days. And maybe at this work session, we could ask all 3 gentlemen to come and sit and, say what they have to say.
I would be in favor of that.
It could be the only thing on the agenda for that night. It could be just interviewing the candidates for the Sewer Authority Board.
What do you think about doing it an hour before meeting time, the next meeting? Would that be sufficient, or do you want to?
We could, but then we run into time constraints. I mean, are we going to give everyone equal time to state their case? I mean, somebody always goes longer than the other person. That doesn't mean the person that goes the longest was the best qualified or so on. So I don't know. I think to be fair, maybe we do it at the work session. And we can have the work session start at 6 if that's the case. I don't know.
Quick conflicting meetings sometimes.
And also, when we do have a work session, we might have a couple things that we could have
Oh,
at
we
that
could, yeah,
time.
we could have a few things on there.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I kind of miss those work sessions. They were fun.
Never been to it. All right, all that being said, I'm going to adjourn this meeting. Thank you. No, there was no...
All right.
Go right ahead.
Hello, I'm Mark Bjorkman. I think you've been talking about me tonight. I just want to thank Mr. John Mack, who took the only survey that really mattered. He talked to me for 35 minutes about my views on the sewer authority. None of the other supervisors ever called me. That's my comment.
Thanks. We did see your resume, however, and your letter.
And thank you for entertaining. Just another comment, I'll be quick. Donna Salvucci, Middletown Township, Swan Point. And it's been a long process, I know, to get us from finding out about everything that was going on with the sewer plant to where we are now, and to have you guys write the letter and to support us. And we appreciate we've gotten there, but there's, there has been some transparency issue, and unfortunately, I think you're still feeling the effects of that, and so are we. And to say that this appointment isn't really that important, it just does mundane work, that's not what was said in the last meeting. There was real, almost chaotic panic about an open position in the last meeting here. The sewer authority actually voted to shut down the work at the sewer plant. They have real power. And it's not just mundane work that they do. I'm sure they do very important work. And a lot of what they do is behind closed doors, and that scares us. Whatever happens in the executive functioning, in the executive meeting, is not out in the sunshine. We don't know what happens, and that's probably how a lot of this came to be, and we didn't know about it in a timely fashion. So we will just ask that, remember, this is a dynamic process. We're not just thinking about the power plant that's not going to happen now. That land right now can't be accessed. It's, it's an illegal process. That may go on for months, from what I understand, or even longer. But we're thinking about a person who's going to think about whether sewer plants are going to be rightfully placed, environmentally placed, or even necessary for years to come. Not just now. We're talking about a timeline. So I'll just close on that, and thank you and good night.
Good night and good luck.
It's adjourned.